Welcome back. I want to start today with a question. When was the last time you were truly impressed by a chatbot? Not amused, not interested, impressed? If you're like most people I talk to, it's probably been a while. Back in 2023, seeing a machine write a poem was magic. In 2024, seeing it write code was useful. But here we are, staring down the barrel of late 2025, and the feeling has changed. The wow factor is gone, and it's been replaced by a very specific frustration. We have these incredible, massive intelligences available via API, but when we try to get them to do actual, multi-step work, like plan a marketing campaign, research the competitors, writes the copy, and schedule the posts, what happens? They hallucinate, they get distracted, they loop endlessly, or they burn through $20 of compute just to give you a mediocre answer. Here is the controversial take I want to unpack today. The era of the God model is ending. We are moving away from the idea of one giant, omniscient brain that does everything toward a future that looks very different. A future that is agentic, specialized, and surprisingly small. Today, we're going to talk about the great unbundling of artificial intelligence and why the next big breakthrough isn't a smarter model. It's a better system. Let's start with agents. If 2023 was about chat, human-to-machine conversation, then 2025 is about agency, machine-to-machine execution. But agent is a buzzword that gets abused. So let's define it. A chatbot answers a question. An agent pursues a goal. If I ask a chatbot, how do I check the weather in Tokyo? It tells me to look at a website. If I ask an agent, it goes to the API, pulls the data, formats it, and texts it to my phone. The industry is pivoting hard to this. But here is the roadblock we hit over the last 2 years. Monolithic models make terrible agents. Think about it. We've been trying to use models like GPT-4 or Claude 3 Opus as if they are a Swiss Army knife. We ask them to be the CEO, the researcher, the coder, and the intern all at once. But in an agentic workflow, you often have a chain of 50 distinct steps. If you use a massive frontier model for every single one of those steps, 2 things happen. You go broke. Paying PhD-level prices to do intern-level data formatting is economic suicide. You get context bloat. As the agent works, it accumulates history, errors, noise. By step 30, that massive model is confused because it's trying to hold too much context in its head. This is why agents haven't taken over the world yet. We've been using the wrong architecture. So, what's the fix? This brings me to the second pillar of our future, specialization and SLMs. SLM stands for Small Language Model. We are talking about models with 7 billion parameters, 3 billion, or even less than 1 billion. For a long time, the logic was bigger is better. More parameters equals more intelligence. And generally, that's true for general reasoning. But for specific tasks, small is the new superpower. Let me paint you a picture of what a modern AI architecture looks like right now in the most advanced labs. It's not one giant brain, it's a swarm. Imagine you want an AI to fix a bug in your software. The old way, you paste the whole code into a giant model and say, "Fix this." It hallucinates a library that doesn't exist. You give up. The new way, the swarm. First, a router agent looks at the request. This is a tiny, cheap model. It just decides, is this a Python bug or a JavaScript bug? That's it. It routes the task to a specialized coder agent. This isn't a general model. It's a small, open-source model fine-tuned exclusively on Python architecture. It doesn't know who the president is. It doesn't know how to write a haiku. It only knows Python. It writes the fix. Then it passes that code to a third agent, the critic. This is another small model trained specifically on compiler errors and security vulnerabilities. It reviews the code, finds a flaw, and sends it back to the coder. They loop 3 times. Once it's perfect, they hand it to a summarizer agent, which writes a human-readable note for you. Do you see the difference? Instead of one genius trying to do it all, you have a team of hyper-specialized savants. They are faster. They are cheaper. We're talking 1/100th the cost. And crucially, they are less prone to distraction. A model that only knows Python code cannot hallucinate a recipe for lasagna. It literally doesn't have the weights for it. This is the mixture of agents approach. And it is dismantling the idea that you need to pay a subscription to one giant tech monopoly to get smart AI. And that leads us to the final, and perhaps most important piece, open source. If the future is specialized swarms, open source wins. Why? Because no single company, not OpenAI, not Google, not Anthropic, can build a specialized model for every single niche in the world. They can't build a specialized model for Pakistani tax law. They can't build a specialized model for 1990s COBOL banking mainframes. But the community can. We are seeing an explosion of open-weight models, Llama, Mistral, Gemma, being fine-tuned by the community for these tiny, specific niches. And there is another factor here, trust. As we let agents do more, access our bank accounts, read our emails, deploy code, we become paranoid, rightfully so. Do you really want a black box model running on a server you don't control to have write access to your company's database? Probably not. But if you use a specialized open source agent, you can audit it. You can run it locally, on your own hardware, inside your own firewall. You can see the thought process. We are seeing the rise of the private agent farm. Companies aren't calling out to the cloud for everything anymore. They are spinning up internal servers, running swarms of open source models. It's a return to owning your own infrastructure. So, let's bring this all together. What does this mean for you? If you are a developer, a founder, or just someone trying to stay ahead of the curve, here is my advice. Stop trying to find the one prompt to rule them all. If you are struggling to get an AI to do a complex task, stop adding more instructions to the prompt. Instead, break the task apart. Ask yourself, could I hire 3 interns to do this instead of one expert? Could one intern do the research? Could one intern do the writing? Could one intern check the facts? If the answer is yes, you are ready for the agentic future. The God model was a fun phase. It showed us what was possible. But the swarm, specialized, open, and collaborative, is what will actually make it profitable. We are moving from the era of magic tricks to the era of digital labor. And frankly, I'm ready for the help. Thanks for listening. I'll catch you in the next one.